Hey, how's you going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's workshop. We're in the sugar shack today because we're going to start boiling sap. I finally got enough sap to boil, so let's get at her. So I'm going to start with 4 liters in the pan. And then up here, hope you can see that, this is what I call my preheater pan. It's not really heat, it just sort of warms it up, takes the chill off it. But then I have a little spigot on the bottom and it just puts a drip feed into the pan, so I won't kill the boil in my pan as I add sap to it. You can see it drooling out here, but I don't want to add sap yet. So we're going to shut that off. So it's boiling pretty good now. So I'm going to open the little drain cock here and start putting some drips in the pan. So there you see it coming in there. Just dial that back a bit. And then I'll take my measuring stick, place it in there, and you can see that's a little bit below 2 liters in the pan right now. So I'll just watch that. I think I'll open that up a little bit more. There we go. I'll just keep an eye on that and see how quick that refills the pan. Alright, it seems to be boiling pretty good now, so what I want to do is get a temperature of that. So I have my meter here with a thermocouple on the end of it. So I just set that in the pan, somewhere around where it's boiling. And then I look up here at the meter, and it's saying 197, 198. So it starts to boil around 197, 198, so that means there's quite a bit of water in there, but quite a bit of sugar content as well, so that's looking good. Take another level reading. It's going down a little bit, so I'm going to open this feed rate up a little bit more. So yeah, I like to keep about an inch of sap in the pan to keep it boiling, so I'm adjusting my flow rate here because I don't want to get too much sap in there, because even though it still boils, it takes longer to evaporate. But if I can get the flow of sap coming from my warming pan into the boiling pan, just so that it sustains about an inch or so of sap in the bottom of the pan, I find that's the most efficient setting to get the best boil rate. And my boil rate's about 4 liters an hour, which isn't terrific, but works for me. So there's just about another 6 or 7 hours to go and I'll be done here. Okay, I just finished adding 4 more liters of sap to my little warming pan up here. So far that makes 20 liters of sap that I've taken out of the jugs. So there's 8 liters in there. There's probably 3 liters in here. So that's 11 liters of 20. I boiled 9 liters of sap off so far, and it's 11:30. So that's 2 hours. So a little bit more than 4 liters an hour. So I'm happy with that. It's doing good. And my temperature is holding pretty good, around 204. And I find it'll stay around 204 until I stop adding sap to it. When I stop adding the sap, then the temperature will start to go up and up and up. And when I get, they say 7 degrees above the boiling point of water, and I checked water this morning and it boils here at 212. So around 219, the syrup should be ready. And I like using Fahrenheit. Even though I'm in Canada here, we measure everything in Celsius. I like to use Fahrenheit because I get a smaller degree of calibration. So my little drizzle of sap going into the pan here, I don't know whether you can see it right down there. The whole idea of that is to get that set up so that I'm putting into the pan as much as I'm boiling off, because what I don't want to do is I don't want to kill the boil. I found in years gone by, if I used to just take 4 liters of sap and dump it in when the pan got low, and I'd run the pan with about, between 4 and 6 liters of sap at all times. and what I found when I dumped my sap in, the cold sap goes in the pan, of course kills the boil. And when it kills the boil, well, it was taking longer to boil off the sap, but I also found it increased the amount of niter that was in the syrup when I was finished. And what niter is, it's residue that's left behind from the minerals that the tree is growing in, the minerals in the ground that the tree is growing in. So when you end up with niter in your syrup, a couple of things happen. One, it doesn't look very good to start with because the syrup has sediment in the bottom of the bottle. And it also, well, people say it affects the taste. I haven't really noticed that, but yeah, you know, when you're putting syrup on your French toast or your pancakes and there's, you know, floaters in the bottle, it just sort of takes the edge off the taste, I guess. Well, she's boiling pretty good, folks, and if you look in the pot, there's about 2 liters of sap left in my warming pan, and then that'll dribble in there. And then when I get about 1 liter or so left in this boiling pan here, then the syrup will be ready. Now there's lots of ways to check to tell if your syrup is ready. There's what's called a well, I forget the name of it. Just one sec. It's a hydrotherm. I have a hydrotherm, but I don't use it. The main reason I don't is because it's hard to get, because I have such little amount of syrup left in my pan when I'm boiling. It's hard to get the flask filled with syrup so I can put the hydrotherm in it. What the hydrotherm is, I'll just show you here. Here is a hydrotherm. It's just a weighted bulb that floats in the syrup, and when it floats at a certain level, then your syrup is ready. This is also a thermometer. I forget where the level is. It's hard for me to see it because I don't have my glasses, but at some point that'll float and bob in the syrup, and it'll be indicate that you have enough sugar content to declare it as good maple syrup. There's other ways you can do it. There's a bricks measurement that you can take. I don't have the technique here to measure the bricks, but the bricks is just a scientific measurement of the sugar content. The tried and true methods that I like to use is I just take a spoon, just an ordinary kitchen spoon, and I just take a spoonful of what's in the pan, and when that sheets off the spoon, it's ready. And you see as I'm dripping that off the spoon, it's just dripping straight off. But by sheeting, I mean that the sap or the syrup at that point will drip from one end of the spoon to the other and form like a sheet as it comes off the spoon. So I'm a long ways from syrup just yet. But anyways, we'll keep boiling here, but we're getting closer. You see now the whole top of the boil is getting all foamy. That means it's getting close. So we're at 209, 208. She's going up like the price of gas. Now I'm going to pour this pan right out of the pan through the filters right into the bottle. So I'm at 217 right now. Put a little more heat on there. And if you can see that, it's starting to sheet off the spoon somewhat. We're not there yet though. Take the heat down a little bit more. What I'm trying to do now is manage this foam, but still trying to keep a boil on it. I'm at 219, 218, 219 now, so what I'd like to do now is just stir this up. Until I can get a consistent temperature of 219 in the whole pan. It's sheeting off the spoon, not bad right now. It's 217 in that corner. Won't be long now. So the pan now, all the syrup in the pan is just about at 220, 219 I mean. So I'm just going to hold it there for a little bit until it starts flashing over to 220. So there it's at 220 now. One more stir. Try and get that foam knocked down again. Okay, so I'm going to turn the heat off. Take my thermometer out. Put my gloves on. We're going to try to make a pour here, so wish me luck. Here, going in the bottle. Just going to put this outside. The thing too about these felt filters, these wool felt filters, you can't squeeze to force the syrup through the filter. You just have to let it go through. I wet that filter first. That helps it filter better. But you just let it drip. Now, I boiled 44 liters of sap. This is a 750 milliliter bottle, and you can see it's maybe a third full. And the syrup is very, very dark. Now, if you're in the business of making syrup to sell, dark syrup is not good. You would use dark syrup for, you know, you'd sell that to Mr. Christie so he can make maple cookies. You certainly wouldn't sell it at Sobeys or Superstore. So a day and a half's worth of boiling, I got about 500 milliliters of syrup. But it's good. All right, there we go. I had 44 liters of sap, and I ended up with about, you know, a little bit more than half a liter of syrup. Takes a lot of sap to make syrup, but the syrup is delicious. Don't ever forget that. So if you're making some maple syrup at home, keep that in mind, Dave, that all the work that you're putting into making this syrup, it's going to taste some good when you're finished. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this little video about my exploits of trying to make some maple syrup. I got some here. I'm going to have it for breakfast in the morning, and it's going to taste great. So, you know, it was worth it, to me, anyways. If you're new to the channel, thanks a lot for dropping by. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you come back often. And for my regular viewers, thanks a million for your support. Don't forget, everyone, thumbs up me. If you have any questions about making syrup, ask away in the comments, and I'll try to answer every one of them. In the meantime, I hope you have a good, safe week. Stay healthy, and we'll talk to you.